Hello there, you're now with me, Cheryl Chamato, for TVS News at 5. Let's begin with this story. It was a smooth vaccination day for students aged 13 to 15 from 4 schools here in Kuching on its third day of vaccination for students in the age group. A visit to the Dewan Majma PPV found that majority of the students and their parents arrived on time, according to their scheduled appointment time, and the process at the centre proceeded smoothly.
Because they are the group yang mudah terdedah. So like myself sudah complete dose, and then alhamdulillah I feel secure and safe. So untuk remaja lain dan parents lain is very good, dan satu advice supaya get vaccinated.
Just take the vaccine lah, it's good for you.
Meanwhile, PPV Dewan Majma coordinator Muhammad Hafiz Ali said a total of 4 schools are being inoculated at a vaccination centre on Saturday.
Secara keseluruhannya, satu hari kita ada melibatkan 1,300 student, dan jika dicampur dengan parents sekali, dia akan melibatkan darab 2 lah. So untuk sekolah-sekolah yang terlibat dalam jadual yang saya nyatakan tadi, mohon hadir mengikut jadual yang dinyatakan lah, dan harap alert dengan cikgu-cikgu yang telah dimaklumkan lah.
Also seen making his round at the centre today was Kuching South City Council or MBKS Mayor Dato' Wee Hong Sang.
To appeal to all these school students, remember when you are young, your parents is taking care of you. Next time, when they're getting old, you have to do the same to them. So those are the things that you can actually see, through this pandemic. In actual fact, you have put all the people together. I think that is what we call SARAWAK spirit. We should carry on with this type of spirit and fight this pandemic together.
And a week after the announcement that Sarawak was touted to be the next tourism bubble destination after Langkawi, it begs the question, are we really ready to welcome visitors? Last week, we interviewed local tourism players for their input regarding the announcement, and this week we spoke with Hee Chang Ki, the Permanent Secretary at the Ministry of Tourism, Arts and Culture, Sarawak, to find out more. This is the first part of the 2-part series on the Sarawak travel bubble.
I think this is very exciting for all the tourism players in the state, including airlines, tour agencies, hoteliers, public transport, tour guides, homestays, destination operators, restaurants, and souvenir shops. So ever since the pandemic struck in 2020, besides incentives by the Sarawak state government through Bantuan Khas Sarawak Usayan or BKSS from the state, and also various aids and subsidies from the federal government, the Ministry of Tourism, Arts and Culture Sarawak and our agencies have been engaging very actively with the tourism industry players in reviewing, planning, and strategizing for short-term recovery initiatives and also long-term plans. And such plans, of course, includes the post-COVID-19 Development Strategies 2030 or PCDS, and also our Sarawak Tourism Master Plan 2021 to 2035. So these plans are very timely, and it is through these engagements and recovery measures, we always try to motivate our tourism industry players to remain resilient, to build up their capacity, and also get ready for the return of our dear tourists. So I think keeping our fingers crossed, we are looking forward to reopening Sarawak's border for tourism very, very.
He noted that health and safety protocols are 2 main factors in ensuring a safe reopening and tourist comeback.
We managed to have a head start, of course, if you remember our Siasitok domestic tour campaign, which actually sold 5,668 Sarawakians, taking up about 941 tour packages, which are discounted at 50% in 2020. And we are happy to note that these Siasitok tours were done very smoothly with everyone involved observing strict protocols, SOPs set by SDA.
Throughout the pandemic, the local tourism industry had to adapt to ride the tide. Hotels had been converted into quarantine centres, while tour buses and vans had been used to ferry COVID-19 patients and travellers entering Sarawak to the dedicated quarantine facilities. And the question is, are the facilities available enough to cater for the inbound domestic tourists?
Sarawak, I think for the cost of COVID-19, it will be just like a lot of other places opening up. We probably will not be seeing mass tourist influx like what happened in Langkawi, because Sarawak, I think we still is actually looking at very niche market, just like what we have done before, right? So with health protocols in place, the tour operators definitely they are ready, okay, with their transportation, with their packages, and also necessary protocols in place for tour guides, destination owners, and so on. So I believe Sarawak, we are ready, right? And then we would not foresee a situation like in Langkawi where there is a sudden influx of tourists, but I believe those are mainly domestic, right? So as I said just now, our Siasitot domestic package has been going on very smoothly without what we have seen in other places with a mass influx of visitors to beaches and so on, okay? So we are ready.
On the other hand, 3 men believed to have worked as operators for an online gambling call center were arrested by police around 10 p.m. yesterday. Padawan Police Chief Superintendent Aidil Hassan said the suspects were nabbed following a raid at a rented apartment in Jalan Setapak Utama in Kuching. According to Aidil, all 3 suspects, aged 20, 21 and 24, are locals working every day in shifts and were paid a monthly wage of 1,500 ringgit each. The suspects were also believed to live in the same apartment where the call center operates. A computer, 3 smartphones and a Wi-Fi router were also seized during the operation. The case is being investigated under Section 4(1)(g) of the Open Gambling House Act 1953. And now on to some COVID-19 updates. Malaysia today registered 13,899 COVID-19 cases, bringing the nation's cumulative number to 2,185,131 cases. The number shows a downtrend, proving the effectiveness of the mass COVID-19 immunization program. Sarawak remains at the top with 2,712 cases recorded today, bringing the state's cumulative COVID-19 cases to 196,146 cases. This is followed by Selangor with 2,341 and Johor with 1,377 infections. Other states registering 4-digit infections includes Kelantan with 1,170 cases, Perak with 1,128 and Pulau Pinang with 1,060.
Saya sendiri tengok ular ada kepala 2.
Oh my god! Itulah pemandangan daripada Kampung Sing.
Saksikan Travelog Raun dengan kami setiap Sabtu jam 5.15 petang hanya di TVS, saluran 122 Astro dan My TV.
Welcome back. The Yang di-Pertuan Agong Al-Sultan Abdullah Riayatuddin Al-Mustafa Billah Shah and Raja Pemaisuri Agong Tunku Haja Aziza Amina Maimuna Iskandaria visited the Malaysian High Commission in Belgrave Square, London on Friday. Their Majesties were greeted upon arrival at 4:30 p.m. local time by the Malaysian High Commissioner to the United Kingdom, Zachary Jaafar, and his wife, Nur Aini Abdul Rahman, as well as the staff of the Malaysian High Commission. During the 2-hour visit, Their Majesties, who are on a 10-day special visit to the United Kingdom, were given a briefing by Zachary, followed by a tea reception together with the Malaysian community in London. This is His Majesty's second visit to the United Kingdom, the first in 2019. And the nation is making preparations to transition into the endemic phase and begin living with the COVID-19 virus. To ensure that the phase will be smooth and safe, pharmacists are urged to work together with the government, learn from each other, as well as guide Malaysians, as they play an important role in the ongoing fight against COVID-19. According to Health Minister Khairi Jamaluddin, they are the primary point of care and the gatekeepers of the nation's healthcare system. On another note, Khairi said self-test kits are another important area where community pharmacists come in, where along with other healthcare facilities, pharmacies are the proper channels to buy self-test kits. Community pharmacists can educate the public on methods of using the self-test kits, its storage and disposal, as well as provide follow-up and counseling once the results are out, and even advice on the differences between brands. Human Resource Minister Dato Sri M. Saravanan today said an integrated traces system will be created to monitor the effectiveness of skills training provided in the country. The proposal on the implementation was tabled at the National Employment Council meeting held recently and will be led by the ministry. Saravanan added that the system's data could be used as a baseline for evaluating course participants' progress in order to continue with training programs in the future. He said the system's mechanism, as well as a proposal for a one-stop digital platform for upskilling and reskilling programs, would be presented to the NEC for consideration and approval at the next meeting. Saravanan said he viewed seriously the impact of training on the marketability for jobs, especially in the current challenging times. Malaysian National Cycling Federation MNCF Vice President Dato' Amarjit Singh chalked another milestone in his career when he retained his seat at the 2021 congressional elections of the International Cycling Union in Leuven, Belgium last night. Amarjit was successfully re-elected to the UCI Management Committee for the 2021 to 2025 term after winning 38 votes out of 43 delegates. Challenger Sheikh Khalid Al Khalifa of Bahrain, who is also a member of the Executive Board of Directors in the Asian Cycling Confederation ACC, only mustered 5 votes, while 2 other Asian contenders, Sun Wei-min from China and Mohsen Solji from Iran, withdrew at the last minute. Though he was confident in his ability to keep his job, Amarjit confessed that he was astonished by his victory margin, which was a generous expression of faith in the part of his supporters. The triumph meant that Amarjit, who is also a member of the ACC Executive Board, will serve another 4 years in the world's highest cycling body, after first winning the post in Bergen in Norway in 2017. Amarjit stressed that he will continue to champion Asia's cause in cycling and also backing Malaysia's bid to host the World Track Cycling Championship if finances permit. And that concludes TVS News at 5. Here with me, Shortmato, and I'll see you tonight. Have a good evening.